Human moved. The shout tore through the night air a second before the explosion hit. The old comm tower behind Liam collapsed in a shower of sparks, metal screaming as it bent. Dust swallowed him whole. His heart hammered. He tasted blood. Through the thick gray cloud, a tall silhouette stepped forward, moving fast, too fast to be human. Liam staggered back, raising his broken flashlight like a weapon. The figure emerged from the smoke. A pair of glowing silver eyes, sharp and familiar. Armor that shimmered like living crystal. A voice that trembled in a way he had heard only once before. "I missed you, human," she whispered. "Let's go home." Liam froze. The world felt unreal. The moonlight hit her face, revealing what he never thought he would see again. Queen of the Dominion. The alien ruler who vanished without a trace 2 years ago. The ruler he had fought beside, bled beside, and lost. He stared, unable to breathe. "That can't be you. You died." Her wings unfolded from her back, those soft, luminous wings made of energy and thin bone. They fluttered once, stirring the dust around his feet. "I am not so easy to kill," she said with a weak smile. "But I almost was, and I should not have stayed away so long." Thunder rumbled overhead. The night felt heavy, charged with danger. "Why are you here?" Liam finally forced out. "Earth isn't safe anymore. The raids, the scanners, you shouldn't be here." Stepped closer, her expression shifting from relief to urgency. "Because they are hunting you, Liam, and because I owe you the truth." Before he could respond, a distant roar cut across the dark sky. Bright lights swept the horizon, search drones, dozens of them, spinning toward their location. His entire posture changed. Her muscles tightened. Her wings glowed brighter. "We must go," she said, "now." But Liam didn't move. He couldn't. Not until he understood. "You disappeared," he said, voice shaking. "You left me on Prime with a war burning around us. I thought you were dead. I buried pieces of your armor myself." She flinched, truly flinched, as though the memory struck like a blade. "I know," she whispered. "I should have told you. I should never have left you without answers." The drones grew louder, engines whining like angry insects. Grabbed his wrist gently but firmly. Her skin was warm, too warm. "Please, Liam, there is no time. They will encircle us." He pulled his hand back. "Then tell me why you're here." She looked at him with those silver eyes filled with exhaustion, fear, and something deeper. "Because everything you knew about that night on was a lie," she said softly. "And because you are the only one I trust to help me stop what's coming." His breath caught. "What's coming?" The ground vibrated as dozens of drones zipped over the ruined tower. Stepped in front of him, wings wrapping protectively around his body like a shield of light. Her voice dropped to a whisper. "My sister has taken the throne. She wants Earth, and she wants you alive." Liam felt ice crawl through his veins. "Why would she want me?" Hesitated. The drones opened fire. Thin, slicing beams of blue energy cut across the dirt. One hit close enough to send heat licking up Liam's leg. Shot upward, wings blazing as she summoned a shield that cracked with violet lightning. "I will explain everything," she promised. "But if we stay here, you will not live to hear it." Liam swallowed hard. 2 years ago, he would have followed her without question. But 2 years ago, she had not left him to face an empire alone. Still, staring into those eyes, he felt something break open inside him, something he thought had died with her. Trust, or maybe hope. He grabbed her hand. "Fine, but we're doing this together." His relief was immediate and genuine. She lifted him, wings beating fiercely, and the world dropped away beneath them. The drones fired again, beams flashing past his legs as carried him higher, faster out of reach. Lightning lit the clouds. Wind roared past his ears. Below them, the land burned blue with enemy fire. Above them, the sky opened, dark, endless, uncertain. Tightened her hold around him. "Liam," she breathed, voice trembling. "Whatever happens next, I will not lose you again." And somewhere deep inside, he believed her. Wind howled around them as carried Liam through the night sky. Her wings glowed brighter with every heartbeat, slicing through the clouds like a trail of silver fire. Liam clung to her armor, trying not to look down at the burning ground far below. "Where are we going?" he shouted over the rushing air. "Somewhere they cannot follow," she answered, voice steady even as her wings trembled from the strain. "Hold on." A burst of violet light exploded behind them. One of the drones had locked onto their trail. Twisted sharply, the sudden movement jerking Liam's stomach upward. "Are you okay?" she called. "I will be if you don't drop me," he muttered. She gave a breathless laugh, the first hint of warmth he'd heard since her return. "I would never." But the laugh faded as more drones rose above the clouds, forming a deadly ring of blue lights around them. Liam felt terror crawl up his spine. "They're waiting for us." Stopped in midair, wings beating as she scanned the circle. "They've improved their tracking systems." A beam shot toward them, whipped around, wings creating a shield of crackling energy. The beam deflected, but the force pushed them downward several meters. "Enough," growled. She lifted one arm. The bracelet on her wrist unfolded into a weapon made of glowing silver threads. She fired a silent pulse of energy, and one drone exploded in a burst of sparks. The circle tightened. Liam grabbed her shoulder. "You can't fight all of them while carrying me." A shadow crossed her eyes, but she nodded. "You are right." She dipped low, aiming for a thick cloud bank. They plunged inside all at once, the world turning white, cold, almost silent. The drones followed, but the fog slowed their sensors. His voice softened. "Liam, I need to tell you what happened that night, before we reach safety, before we face my sister." Liam tightened his grip. "Then tell me." She hesitated, wings slowing. The cloud muffled the hum of the drones for a moment. "That night on Prime," she began slowly, "I sensed an ambush before it happened. Not by the rebels, not by our enemies, by my own blood." Liam's heart pounded. "Your sister." Nodded, the one everyone believed gentle, obedient, harmless. "I discovered she had been manipulating the Dominion's generals for years. She wanted the throne. She wanted the war to continue. And she wanted to remove anyone who could stop her, including you." "Me, I'm nobody." Not to her, looked down at him. "Not to me." Before he could ask what she meant, a beam slashed through the cloud beside them. The drones had found them again. Tensed, "I must accelerate." "Do whatever you need," Liam said. Her wings snapped open wide, glowing so bright the clouds lit up like lightning. She shot upward, breaking through in a powerful burst. Liam gasped. The stars above them glittered like thousands of silver eyes. And ahead, floating in the sky like a hidden sanctuary, was an old scout vessel, one of the stealth ships Earth never detected. Liam stared, stunned. "You hit a ship here." "No," said. "I abandoned it here 2 years ago when I left you." Her voice cracked. Before he could respond, the drones emerged behind them. Pushed forward desperately, almost collapsing onto the ship's hull, she slammed her palm against the entrance panel. The hatch opened with a hiss. She shoved Liam inside. "Get down," she commanded. A beam struck her back before she could follow. "Oh," he shouted. She staggered, wings flickering, then fell into the ship. She hit the floor hard, breath knocked out of her. The hatch sealed behind her just as the drones fired again, the blasts echoing against the metal. Liam crawled to her side, panic rising. "Talk to me." She winced but managed a weak smile. Still not so easy to kill. But he saw the scorched mark on her armor, the way her wings dimmed. "You're hurt." "I've been worse." He brushed her hair aside gently. "Don't scare me like that again." Her eyes softened. "I came back because I do not wish to lose you, not now, not ever." A silence hung between them, heavy, fragile. Then forced herself up, leaning against the wall. "Liam, my sister is coming for Earth, and she will stop at nothing." Liam swallowed. "Then what do we do?" Looked at him, truly looked at him, with a mix of hope and fear. "We prepare," she whispered. Because the war she wants begins with us. The ship's engines hummed softly, filling the air with a low, steady vibration. Liam helped sit upright against the curved wall of the small medical chamber. Her breath came uneven, and her wings, usually bright and firm, hung limp behind her. He pressed a palm to her shoulder, trying to hide the tremble in his own fingers. "You need to lie down." Shook her head. "We cannot waste time. My sister's scouts will track the ship soon." "You were shot," Liam insisted. "You're not doing anything until that's treated." For a moment he expected her to argue. Instead, she gave a tired smile, soft, almost human. "Very well, but only because you ask." He helped her lie on the narrow med bed. The armor around her back folded away, revealing the wound beneath. Liam sucked in a breath. The injury wasn't deep, but the skin around it shimmered in strange, unstable patterns, the mark of energy weapons that disrupted nerves. Saw his expression and reached out, brushing her fingertips against his wrist. "Do not fear, this is a superficial strike." "Superficial," he muttered. "You nearly fell out of the sky." Her faint laugh turned into a hiss of pain. Liam activated the med panel beside them. Blue light washed over her wound, and tiny metal instruments slid out, scanning her back. Closed her eyes. "Liam, I know you have questions." He swallowed. "Questions? I have more than that. You vanished for 2 years, no message, no signal. I thought you died. And now you return and drag me into another war." The med panel beeped as it began repairing her tissue. "Why?" he demanded softly. Opened her eyes, silver irises glowing faintly. "Because I made a mistake, a terrible one." She exhaled shakily. "When I discovered betrayal, I believed staying away from you would protect you. I knew she would come after me and anyone close to me." Her voice grew quieter. "I feared that meant you would be her first target." Liam looked at the metal wall, anywhere but her face. "So instead of trusting me, you ran." "Yes," she didn't hesitate, "and I regret that choice every day." The honesty in her voice hit him harder than the explosion earlier. He leaned back against the opposite wall, rubbing his forehead. "We fought side by side. You saved my life more than once. I thought—" His voice cracked. "I thought I mattered." Her eyes widened, hurt flashing across them. "Liam, you matter more than you know." He stayed silent. She continued, voice trembling. "If I had lost you because of my sister, I would not have forgiven myself." The med panel beeped again, signaling the wound was sealed. Slowly sat up, wings still heavy but no longer trembling. Liam finally looked at her. "Then why come back now? Why risk everything to find me on Earth?" Held his gaze. "Because is no longer hiding in shadows. She is preparing her fleet. She intends to conquer the weaker systems first, Earth among them." A pause. "And she wants you alive because she believes you are the reason the Dominion's generals once supported me instead of her." Liam blinked. "Me? Why would they care about me?" Stood unsteadily. He rose to help her, and she leaned lightly against him. "Because you changed me," she said, "and they feared what a queen influenced by a human would do." Liam's heart skipped. "All I did was try to stop a war." "And I listened," she said quietly. "That made me dangerous to them." Silence stretched between them, raw, emotional, real. A sudden alarm shrilled through the ship, shattering the moment. Stiffened, tracking signal detected. They found us. Liam moved with her toward the cockpit, a small, rounded room filled with dim lights and a single panoramic window. Outside, the sky was turning pale with dawn. A hologram flickered above the console, displaying several fast-moving dots approaching their location. Cursed under her breath, an old phrase Liam remembered only from battlefields. 3 hunter ships. My sister escalated quickly. Liam grabbed the railing beside her. "Can we outrun them?" Hesitated, then shook her head. "Not in this vessel, it is too old." "Then what's the plan?" She turned to him, eyes glowing, steady despite her wound. "We fight," she said softly, "but not alone." Liam frowned. "What do you mean?" She lifted a hand and pressed a sequence into the console. A hidden compartment slid open, revealing a device shaped like a smooth crystal, pulsing with violet light. I prepared for this, held the crystal out. This is a call signal. If we activate it, every rebel who still believes in me will hear it. Liam swallowed, and they'll come. Yes, but once we send it, there is no turning back. The ship shook as the hunter vessels locked onto their coordinates. Looked at Liam, not as a queen, but as someone who trusted him deeply. Liam, she whispered, will you stand with me again? The ship rattled violently. Liam took a breath and nodded, always. Pressed the crystal into his hand. Then the war begins now, she said. The ship trembled as another blast struck its shields. Warning lights flashed red across the cockpit, bathing Liam and in a harsh glow. Outside the window, 3 sleek hunter vessels circled like wolves closing in on wounded prey. Liam gripped the glowing crystal in his hand. It pulsed with a soft rhythm like a heartbeat. Steadied herself against the console. Liam, activate it now. How, he asked. Break it. He blinked, break it. Nodded, her expression tight. The signal is sealed inside, shatter the outer shell. Another impact rocked the ship, making both of them stumble. Liam raised the crystal, hesitated for a split second, then smashed it against the metal railing. The crystal burst into a cloud of violet sparks that scattered through the cockpit like falling stars. The lights sank into the metal walls, the floor, the console, then vanished. Exhaled sharply, it's done. A low hum vibrated under their feet, spreading across the ship's systems. Liam looked around. What now? Now, said softly, they will hear me. But there was no time to hope. Another blast ripped along the side of the ship. A display flickered, showing the hull damage, 60%, 58, dropping fast. Swings tightened. They're trying to disable us, not destroy us. They want you alive. She glanced at him with guilt shadowing her face. I am the expendable one. Liam stepped in front of her. Not to me. She froze, expression softening for a heartbeat, just long enough for the ship to shake violently again. A beeping alarm cut through the cockpit. One of the hunters was directly above them, charging a containment beam. Lunged to the helm, hold on. She slammed a control. The ship dove at a sharp angle, the G-force crushing them downward. Liam grabbed a handle, teeth gritted as his stomach lurched. A beam of golden energy crackled past the window, missing by inches. They're persistent, Liam muttered. She is persistent, corrected. My sister trained them herself. The hunters regrouped, forming a triangle around the ship. A trap. His face hardened. They're forcing us to land. Liam stared. Landing where? Another blast struck, this one powerful enough to cut the engines. The ship fell into a steep downward spin. Shouted, brace yourself. They plummeted. The sky blurred, wind roared. The ship spiraled toward a dense stretch of forest beneath them, dark, wild, miles from any settlement. Impact in 10 seconds, the system warned. Swings snapped open, glowing so brightly they filled the small cockpit. She pressed her hands to the console, transferring energy into the hull. 5 seconds. Liam's heart pounded. He crouched low, arms over his head. The ship hit the ground with a bone-shaking crash, tumbling, tearing through trees, metal screeching as it dug into the earth. Then silence. Dust hung in the air. A fire crackled somewhere behind them. Liam groaned, pushing a fallen cable off his leg. He turned and froze. Was collapsed against the console, her wings flickering weakly. She opened her eyes barely. Still alive, she whispered. He scrambled to her. Don't move. I must. She tried to stand, stumbled, and he caught her. Outside, branches snapped. The sound of approaching boots, heavy, synchronized, disciplined. The hunters had landed. His breathing grew sharp. Liam, they will blast their way in. We cannot remain here. Then we move, Liam said with determination. He helped her through the ruined hallway toward the back exit. The ship's interior sparked with dying lights, wires hanging like torn vines. Behind them, metallic thuds echoed as the hunters cut through the outer hull. Whispered faster. Liam pushed the emergency door. It opened halfway before jamming. He shoved with all his strength until the gap widened enough for them to slip out. Cold morning air hit their faces. The forest stretched endlessly around them, mist rising from the ground, sunlight just beginning to break through the branches. Leaned heavily on him, but she forced her wings open. "I can fly a short distance." "No," Liam said firmly. "You're too weak, we stay on foot." A crash behind them, metal bursting. The hunters had made a breach. Looked over her shoulder. "They are close." Liam guided her deeper into the trees. They pushed through thick vines, following the natural shadows. "How far until your rebels come?" he asked. Hesitated. "I do not know. Some may not answer. Some may fear my sister." He swallowed. "And if no one comes?" Her voice broke. "Then it is only us." The forest fell quiet, too quiet. Then in the distance, a low hum began to rise. Not mechanical, not human. Stopped walking, eyes widening with disbelief. "Do you hear that?" she whispered. Liam nodded. "What is it?" His trembling lips curved into a faint, relieved smile. "My people," she breathed. "They heard the signal." The hum grew louder, stronger, closer. Hope, fragile but real, flickered between them. The hum grew louder, vibrating through the forest floor like a living heartbeat. Liam tightened his grip around her waist as she leaned against him, her breath shallow but steady. Mist curled between the trees, glowing faintly with the rising morning light. His eyes shimmered. "They're close, closer than I expected." Liam scanned the forest. "Are they friendly?" She managed a tired smile. "If they weren't, we would already be dead." Branches rustled overhead. A shadow dropped from the trees, landing silently on a high branch just meters away. Liam's pulse spiked. The figure was tall, armored in worn plates of silver and dull gold, wings folded close. A warrior. His eyes glowed the same silver as. He tilted his head. "My queen," his voice trembled, "we thought you lost." Straightened despite her injuries. "You answered my call." More shadows appeared, one by one. Warriors emerging from the fog. Dozens. Some perched on branches, others stepping lightly onto the forest floor. Their armor was mismatched, battle-damaged, old, rebels who had survived on scraps. Dropped to the ground before her, one knee bent. "We will always answer. The Dominion still whispers your name, even in hiding." Swings lifted slightly in gratitude. "Your loyalty honors me." Liam felt a swell of relief. Reinforcements, finally. But the moment didn't last. A sharp crack echoed behind them, trees splintering as one of the hunter soldiers broke into the clearing. Its armor gleamed black-blue, its glowing visor scanning rapidly. Stiffened. "Get back." Leapt forward, wings flaring. Two other rebels dropped beside him. Energy blades sparked to life in their hands. The hunter raised its weapon, but moved first, slashing with fierce precision. Sparks flew. The hunter staggered back as another rebel struck from the side. The forest erupted into chaos. A dozen hunters burst into the clearing, weapons blazing. The rebels launched themselves upward, using the trees like springboards, pulled Liam behind a thick tree trunk as beams cut through the air. "Stay close," she whispered, voice thin but urgent. Liam watched deflect a blast, wings slicing through the air with deadly beauty. Another rebel performed a spiral dive, striking a hunter's shoulder and sending it crashing through a bush. "They're strong," Liam muttered, awe in his voice. Nodded weakly. "They are survivors hardened by years of hiding." She touched her chest, wincing. "But we must move." "Move where?" Liam asked. Pointed toward the far side of the forest, where a faint blue shimmer flickered between the trees. "There. The rebels have a hidden sanctuary. We need to reach it." A hunter soldier noticed them and fired a beam. The tree trunk exploded into splinters. Liam shielded, pulling her to the ground as debris rained down. A rebel warrior landed on the hunter with a fierce cry, driving a blade through its armor. pushed herself up, shaky but determined. "Liam, run," she whispered. He nodded and wrapped his arm around her, guiding her toward the distant shimmer. Behind them, the battle raged, metal clashing with metal, wings beating, shouts echoing through the forest. But the hunters were persistent. One broke free from the fight and charged toward them. Liam turned, grabbing a fallen branch, thick, heavy. He swung it hard as the hunter lunged. The branch cracked against the soldier's helmet. It barely flinched. Stepped forward, summoning the last of her strength. Her hand glowed with violet energy, and she thrust it into the hunter's chest. The soldier convulsed, sparks bursting from its armor before collapsing into the dirt. "Swayed." Liam caught her before she fell. "Easy, I've got you." The blue shimmer ahead grew brighter, closer. As they reached it, Liam realized it was a cloaking field, humming softly between two massive trees. Rebels guarded the entrance, pulling the injured inside. One approached. "Your Majesty, come quickly. The shield can hold, but not for long." Nodded weakly. "See to him first," she said, gesturing at Liam. But the rebel shook his head. "No, without you none of this stands." Liam helped her through the shimmering barrier. Inside was a hidden camp, structures woven into trees, glowing with soft light. Rebels moved quietly, tending to the wounded, preparing defenses, reinforcing shield generators. Collapsed onto a stone bench, wings sagging, Liam knelt beside her. "We made it," he whispered. She reached for his hand. "Because of you." Liam squeezed her fingers gently. Behind them, the barrier flickered as the hunters pressed against it. Rushed inside, armor cracked but eyes blazing. "My queen, we cannot stay hidden for long. Full battalion approaches." Lifted her head, pain in her expression, but fire in her eyes. "Then we will not hide." She stood slowly, leaning on Liam. "Prepare the council, call every rebel cell." Her voice grew stronger, deeper, filled with resolve. "If wants a war, she will have one." Liam felt the air shift around her, a quiet promise of what was coming. Night settled over the hidden rebel sanctuary, but no one slept. The entire forest felt tense, branches still, wind silent, shadows stretched thin by the glow of shield barriers. Liam stood beside as rebels hurried through camp, preparing weapons, reinforcing structures, whispering to each other like a storm was coming. Because it was. Battalion, an entire Royal Strike Force, was marching toward them. Strength was wavering, but her eyes stayed sharp. She stood with, and the surviving rebel leaders around a holographic map projected on a stone table. The map showed the forest, and 3 large red clusters moving closer. "They are surrounding us," said grimly. "Your sister means to crush us in one strike." Studied the map with a calm that frightened Liam. "Never changes her patterns," she said. "She likes overwhelming force, intimidation, but she underestimates the forest, and she underestimates us." The rebels nodded. Liam crossed his arms. "What do we do?" Turned to him, the weight of a queen in her gaze. "We fight smart. We don't let them push us into the open. We use the trees, the shadows, the shields, all of it." Added, "We have traps laid, energy nets, sonic barriers, and aerial scouts positioned across the canopy." "But it won't be enough," finished. "Not if joins the front line." Liam felt a cold chill. "Your sister will come herself." Closed her eyes for a moment, pain flickering across her features. "She always finishes what she starts." Liam stepped closer, lowering his voice. "Your wound, you're barely standing." She smiled sadly. "Queens do not rest when their people bleed." "And humans don't let their friends die standing," Liam said firmly. Her expression softened. "You are more stubborn than ever." Before he could reply, horns echoed through the forest. A deep, resonant sound, metal and thunder fused into one. Every rebel froze. Swings tightened. They've reached the outer perimeter. Stood, lifting her chin. Form the primary defense line. Position archers in the trees. Prepare the ground squads. She turned to Liam, voice low. "You will stay here." He stared at her. "Absolutely not." Liam, she said gently, this is combat, you are human. And I'm not leaving you again. Her breath caught in her throat. Before she could argue, a rebel scout sprinted into the camp, panting. Your Majesty, the enemy has brought striders. A murmur of fear swept through the rebels. Liam didn't understand at first, until he heard a sound from beyond the barrier. Heavy, metallic, like mountains walking. Paled, brought war machines to a forest battle. She means to burn everything. The ground trembled, the footstep of a massive mechanical beast, then another, and another. Wasn't just coming. She was announcing herself. Closed her eyes, steadying her breath. Everyone prepare for impact. The rebels assembled at the barrier. Liam helped a young warrior adjust her armed guards, trying not to show his fear. Then silence. A complete, terrifying silence. Until a voice boomed through the forest. Cold, sharp, familiar. Sister. Froze. Liam felt goosebumps rush across his skin. The voice continued, closer now. I asked you to die quietly. You made that impossible. Stepped forward, her wings lifting with defiance. End this madness. Your fight is not with my people. A scoff echoed in the trees. My fight is with anyone who loves you. Liam's blood ran cold. A beam of red light sliced through the barrier, testing its strength. Shouted, shields at 70%. A second beam struck, harder, making the entire forest shake. Whispered, she wants to break our courage. Liam grabbed her hand, then don't let her. Looked at him, really looked, and something in her eyes steadied. Stay behind me, do not let go. I won't, he whispered. The barrier around the sanctuary flickered under another impact. Cracks of energy spread across its surface like lightning. The striders took positions, massive metal creatures with glowing cores. Silhouettes of hunters appeared between the trees, their weapons burning like small suns. Stepped forward at the center, tall, regal, armored in obsidian plates that reflected the glow of her troops. Her wings were sharper, brighter, almost blinding. Her silver eyes matched, but colder, empty. Raised her hand. For the throne, she said. And the first wave attacked. The shield shattered. Rebels launched into the air, firing beams. Striders stormed forward, flames bursting from their joints. Hunters charged beneath them, weaving through the trees. Liam covered as debris exploded around them. She whispered, stay behind me, Liam. Not a chance, he said, grabbing a fallen weapon. Wings glowed brighter than they had all day, her strength returning not to fight for the throne. But for him. She lifted her arm, gathering energy. Then, she said, we fight together. And the forest exploded into war. The battlefield fell silent, not in peace but in fear. Ashes drifted across the broken ground like snow. Smoke curled into the dark sky. Blades of ruined ships lay scattered like pieces of a dead world. Elias stood in the center of the fallen city, breathing hard. His armor was cracked, burned, and bleeding light from broken circuits. Around him, thousands of alien warriors watched with trembling jaws and wide, terrified eyes. He raised his sword, half melted but still glowing. Do not, Elias warned, voice low, steady, dangerous, touch her. Queen lay behind him, weakened after shielding him from the blast that had nearly taken her life. Her wings flickered weakly against the ground. Her crown was cracked. Her breath came in slow, painful waves. But her eyes were still burning bright with love. The enemy general stepped forward, trembling. The queen is too weak to rule. Surrender her, human. You cannot win this war alone. Elias smiled slowly, a tired, broken smile. That's the funny thing, he said. I'm not alone. And then the ground shook. A hum rose, deep and powerful. Stars shifted. Because the humans had arrived. A fleet of Earth ships, huge, silver, glowing with blue thrusters, broke through the clouds like angels falling from the sky. They descended in formation, casting light across the ruined city. Elias didn't look surprised, almost like he had been waiting, almost like he had trusted they would come. The alien general stumbled back. Impossible! Humans do not travel this far. Humans do not fight in our wars. Elias tightened his grip on his broken sword. You came for my queen. So my people came for yours. Dozens of human landed. Armored soldiers poured out, forming a protective ring around Elias, and the alien armies hesitated, then threw down their weapons. The will to fight simply disappeared. Weakly pushed herself upright, breath shaking. You called them. Elias knelt beside her, brushing dust from her cheek. I promised, he whispered. If you ever came back for me, I'd make sure you never stood alone again. Her eyes softened with a mixture of awe and something deeper, something she had once called impossible. You humans, she said weakly, you love so fiercely it terrifies the stars. He chuckled, voice breaking. You should see us on a good day. Later, after the city was secured, after the treaties were drafted, after the enemy fleet surrendered, the two of them stood on a quiet cliff overlooking the ocean. Not her ocean, not his, but something in between. The wind whipped her hair back. Her wings stretched slowly, still healing. Elias stood beside her without armor, just a simple jacket. The same sky that had once burned now shined with calm blue. Looked down at him. I should return to my people will need rebuilding. Guidance, peace. Elias nodded, though there was a pain in the motion. I know. She stepped closer, but her hand brushed the back of his. I do not wish to leave you again. He swallowed. You don't have to. Closed her eyes, the wind catching her wings like sails. When I left the first time, she whispered, it was because I believed power mattered more than my heart. I believed duty was heavier than love. Her voice trembled. I was wrong. Elias reached out, taking her hand gently. You came back, that's what matters. She looked at him then, truly looked, as if memorizing his face, as if carving him into her soul. Then, with a soft breath that sounded almost like a prayer, she said the words that had shattered him the first time, but now healed him completely. I missed you, human, let's go home. Elias felt something warm break open inside him. Home, he asked softly. With you, she replied. Always with you. She unfolded her wings, glowing softly under the sunlight, and opened them wide enough for both of them. He stepped into her embrace. She wrapped her arms and wings around him. And together, they lifted off the ground. Slow at first, then higher. Higher. The cliff, the sea, the broken world, all fell away beneath them. The queen carried him, and he held on to her as if the universe depended on it. Maybe it did. They soared toward the waiting human ships, toward the alien fleet, toward a future neither species had ever imagined. Two hearts, two worlds, one home, together.